Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about The Walking Dead's ending, I guess the show's possible ending, and Gimple's comments that he made about the ending. I guess technically the ending from the comics and how that might translate on the show. And I guess this is kind of spoilers, but on the show, we are very much nearing the end of the source material for the comic. I realistically think we have only one more season of material left. You could stretch it into two, but that season would just be really boring. I think where season 10's finale is ending up, it's kind of around like issue like 163. There's a certain moment there, kind of stuff from 167, and also stuff from like 175, I believe. Yeah, because that's when the Commonwealth was introduced. So it's combinations of all of that. They rushed a lot of that, which I think is very smart. But the last issue was 193. And so you only really have from 175 to 193 to do in season 11. That's why I think there's only really one season left. There's two big moments that happen in the comics. I'm not going to spoil anything in here, but I'll say it's issue 186, I believe. And then obviously issue 192 and 193. I think they could make issue 186 the mid-season finale for season 11, then issue 192, 193, around there anyways, the season finale for season 11. But what do you do after that? Because the comics are done, the show is definitely going on to season 12, 13, 14, 15, like for sure. It's not ending anytime soon, especially based off of what Gimple said here. And so let's get into that. Obviously, before we jump in, I should warn you for spoilers for The Walking Dead Season 10, and also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. The show's coming back in 66 days, in about a month from now. I'm sure the hype for it, the releasing of teasers and trailers are going to be coming out. And over this next month, there most likely will be some stuff too. At least more than what we got in the last 2 or 3 months for sure. Because the last 2 or 3 months, like there's been nothing that has come out. Like it's been really, really quiet. So yeah, if you want videos on all that, any new information that we do learn, reviews of episodes and stuff like that, just make sure to be a subscriber. Now, I got this from comicbook.com. I'll leave a link down below to the article if you want to read the full thing. I just wanted to take a little thing here, what Gimple said. And yeah, let's get into what he said here. He said, "It's always been about fulfilling the spirit of the book. When I read that last issue, I was like, I want to see more of this. I want to see more of this world that he's laying out." And Kirkman even was like, hey, you see what I did there? See what story is there? How about that? We want to fulfill the book, but even in fulfilling the book, I think there's a lot more to go. So obviously, he's talking about the ending there to The Walking Dead. And obviously this will contain spoilers for that. But after Rick Grimes dies, he dies in issue 192, I believe. Is it 192 or 191? I can't even remember now. Well, I think it was 191. 192 was the reaction. And then in 193 was like the ending. And what happened in that issue is they jumped forward about 20 years or 20, 25, 30 years. I don't know how long it was. I've heard some people say 15 years. The point is, I think like 20 years for sure, 20 to 25, no, like 20 years, I would say. The world has changed. People don't really experience zombies anymore. Carl actually says at one point there that he hasn't seen a zombie in a very long time. So it's like the apocalypse is still there, but they're relatively safe to the point that they don't really see walkers anymore, which is really curious. There's a lot of questions I have there. Like, how does that work now? That makes no sense. Why aren't you seeing walkers? Like, what about the old people that are dying naturally? Or not even old people, just people in general that do die of things. How are you going to be able to catch it right away? Like, do you have a system in place for all of that? So there's a lot of questions I have with that. They really, like Kirkman really did in that last issue, a lot of world building. Like, I think I've heard Gimple even say that before. That last issue really does work like a pilot. It's a pilot to a new series. If you read that issue 193 of The Walking Dead, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't really feel like the ending to the entire story. It does too, it definitely does, but it opens up a brand new world. It does a lot with these characters, and I can't believe what he did in that issue. It's such an amazing issue. So I do think this is going to be the plan, because of what Gimple said here, that he wants to fulfill the book, he wants to get to that point, he wants to do that story there, because there is so much story there. I think what he also wants to do is he wants to do his own thing on the show as well, but eventually get to that point. So I do think at some point in the next, I don't know how many years, I don't know if it's going to be 5 years, 8 years, probably 5 years, within the next 5 years for sure. I think the show's current cast is going to come to an end in some form, just in the sense that if they actually do a 20-year time jump, whoever wants to be involved will be there. And they will be playing 20-year-old or older characters or something like that. Maybe they'll only do a 10 or 15-year time jump. Like, they don't have to jump forward that far. That's the thing about it all. Judith right now is like 10 or 11. They could do a time jump to make her like almost 30. So I guess that would be like 20 years. But they could just do a 10-year time jump to make her like 20 years old or something like that. Make her about the age of Maggie. Like, I don't know how old Maggie was. She was in her early 20s or mid 20s or something like that in season 2. Just maybe do something like that. A lot of the other characters are going to age as well. Like Daryl will age about 10 to 15 years. Carol's going to age 10 to 15 years. Maggie, everyone's going to age that much. You actually have characters like RJ, literally his name is Rick Jr., which is so badass. I just have to keep reminding people of that. And his name is actually Rick Grimes, right? Because I'm sure he took his dad's last name. So that's literally Rick Grimes. That's so amazing. Holy shit. But this kid here, imagine him in like 10 to 15 years and Judith 10 to 15 years older. And also Herschel, like as of now, we've only seen him as a baby, but he is about 8 years old. So in like 10 to 15 years, he would be like 20, like early 20s or something like that. So these characters are going to be a lot older. If you actually focus a lot on how much Kirkman really built up that world in that last issue, there's a lot you can do there, especially with Herschel. Like if you know what Herschel was like in that final issue of the comic, oh my God, if they actually did that with that character, I don't even know like what. They could do a lot there with Judith and with RJ. Like, I'm not saying this is going to happen in season 12, by the way. They totally could do it if they wanted to, but I just don't see it because that's so soon. I think this is going to be a thing in like season 15 or 16. I think honestly, they're going to do some other original material for a while before they even get to this point, because doing this really does change a lot of things. And also the one thing I think you have to take into consideration is Rick Grimes, those movies. How does his story affect all of this? Because if they do a story with like Daryl, if he's around then, or Negan, if he's still alive, I don't even know if he's going to be, if they're much older, what are you going to do with their story? Because Rick won't be around. And so you kind of have to make the decision if you're doing that one, they haven't found him yet, which would be very tragic, like very tragic. And so what, did Michonne not come back yet? You can't build this world, do a 20-year time jump and not acknowledge any kind of reunion with Rick. And so that's why I think that the Rick reunion is going to happen with Judith and all that when they're about the age that they're at right now. Maybe a little bit older, but around this age, I think, definitely for sure. I also think they want to get into some original material. I don't think they want to jump into something just like that, because then you're kind of ignoring what you could have done in the last 15, 20 years, or whatever that time jump was. Like with the Commonwealth, how that ended, there was a lot there that you could have done with Sebastian, but they just never did, or Kirkman just didn't want to. Obviously, I think it's because he just wanted to end the series there, but there's a lot you can do there. Sebastian could have been way more villainous than Kirkman wrote him. Gimple's comments here, I think, confirm that the show's not going to be done for a while. And again, I don't know when they're going to be doing this. This might not happen for another 3 or 4 years, or 3 or 4 seasons. So say that's season 14 or 15, probably like 15, I would say 15, 16. At that point, it's almost like a reboot of everything, right? Like, I don't know if they'll end the show, start a new show with that, just end the main Walking Dead show, and then they'll start like a Walking Dead Next Generation type of show or something. I don't know. But I'm interested in all this. I'm happy Gimple did say that. It seems like the Walking Dead, at least the universe, is going to be very much alive for a very, very long time. And I think the most important question among all of that is, when is this Rick movie coming out? Because I want some type of news. Post all your thoughts down below and let me know what you guys are thinking about all of this. Do you think The Walking Dead should make a show, or I guess continue the show from the point where the comics ended and just, build upon what Kirkman did there? Or should that just be its own separate show and end the show here within this time period sort of thing? Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.